Hey, and welcome back to another amazing conversation with our Meet the Team campaign. Y'all, I hope you've been like vibing in, checking in with us either live or checking out some of our previous recordings, but we have totally introduced you to the top tier leadership team in the game. It's like, say less. Starting with our very own CEO, Tahir Johnson. Then you got to learn a little bit about me, my background, what I'm doing, and what People Equals Profits is all about. Then from there, we went into our Tiffany, the female of the game, holding down our chief operating officer role. From there, you got to see the person behind the scenes making it magic. And that is Fresh. And then last week, we kicked it off with our dynamite duo, Becca, holding it down from our ASM assistant store manager position. And so today we brought in the big guns. Like literally this person is licensed to carry, has been, lock it down. I feel safe, but that's in his spare time, holding down his own security company. Y'all, we are bringing you our assistant store manager today, Mr. Bryant Watts. Hey! Where you at, Bryant? What? Y'all, can y'all give it up for Bryant? I don't think he heard him yet.
Hey, everybody. Ooh. I see you, Lanett. How'd you know?
Yo. So if you are just now tuning in, y'all, this is our assistant store manager, Bryant Watts. And every single week we have theme songs for our amazing guests that come on. It actually started as just like, they didn't realize I'm a DJ on the side. So everyone has a theme song, but they don't know what their song is until they come out. So Bryant's song today is Boss, right? From Meek Mills featuring Rick Ross, a great, amazing arrangement with a lot more artists on it. Bryant, what do you think about your song, I'm a Boss?
Perfect. I think it encapsulates my mood, my vibe, and my intentions.
Yes, it does. So we're going to talk about you, Boss Mo, what you doing, you holding it down. When we talk about, who our boss is, the amazing Tahir Johnson,
yes.
We report into this amazing, phenomenal man. In addition to, you and Becca will be sharing, literally when we get to max as right now, almost 50 direct reports, 25 each, right, reporting into you. So Boss Mo, we want to get into it, hear about just what your role is going to entail, how you're going to be managing your team, what are some great, amazing things we can look forward to. But before we do, we got icebreaker questions for you, okay?
Let's get it.
All right. Go to, as always, we have our this or that. I'm going to give you two options. You're going to give me what your preference is. Good?
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So first question, simple. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl, definitely.
I knew this. I felt it. I knew that. Okay. Next one, burger or fries?
Fries. As of recently, I've been going the non-meat route if possible. And I'll probably go with fries. You can do a lot with some fries, though.
Okay. Non-meat. So next one is pizza or pie?
Oh, definitely pizza.
Veggie pizza, just cheese pizza?
I'll get an extra cheese pizza with some spinach on it.
All right. This next one, I know you're a sports person. Do you prefer basketball or football?
Oh, I got to ask a follow-up question. Are we talking to watch or to play?
Both.
Okay, to play, basketball. To watch, football.
What?
Yeah.
You played football, really?
That's why I'm kind of over it, honestly. I played a lot of football. It was good while it was
I don't want to be hurt no more. I'm tired.
Yeah, my body done put in a lot of time, and it was good while it lasted. I got some results from it. I met some great people. I accomplished. I learned a lot about myself in the process, but I'm done with that. Basketball is more my thing now. I could do that and walk away unscathed.
And my ankles are still intact.
Right, knees might be a little damaged, but that's all right though.
Facts. Okay. Water or wine?
Water. Water. Wine's really just not doing it for me,
He's still an
honestly.
athlete. Athlete through and
Yeah.
through. All right. This is a hard one.
Oh boy.
Batman or Superman?
Batman, because he didn't have superpowers. It takes a lot to go out there and compete when you're not, you don't have it what everybody else has. So definitely
Right
Batman.
answer. Right answer. Okay. Mr. Healthy, fruits or vegetables?
Ooh, fruits. I like my fruits. That's like the Caribbean side of me. I love my fruits.
Jay-Z or Kanye?
Whew. I'm gonna go Kanye because I feel like Kanye's a little bit more raw. Like he's not always right, but I think that's why I like him because he's a real human. I feel like people try to protect their image a lot in that realm, but he keeps it 100.
Weezy or Kanye?
Weezy. I grew up on Weezy. I'm sorry. All the flamers, not flamers, all the droughts, the no ceilings, the Carters. Like there's too many projects. Wayne just really supplied my whole like upbringing with like anthems and like theme songs and yeah, definitely Weezy.
Weezy. Okay, so if there was a live battle right now, Drake versus Weezy, who you calling?
Weezy. Weezy gonna kill him. Weezy. I think the real Weezy fans would step up for real. I don't think we would let him down in that moment. We couldn't. He made Drake's whole career possible.
We know what
There's no
Drake
way.
can do. But you're right. Raw freestyle is Weezy all day.
Yeah, and I feel like if they're in the same space too, like if Drake had to really like go toe to toe with Weezy, I feel like he would cower a little bit because like that was his mentor at one point. It's hard to separate the two.
But then there's also exactly the point. So if they both have 3 days, who are you calling now?
Okay, now that's different. If Drake got some time to compose himself and get something together, I ain't gonna lie, he undefeated so far, so I gotta give it to Drake. I mean, unfortunately, I would hope for the best though. I would hope Weezy will hold his own.
You know what Weezy can do in 72 hours? If he can freestyle, what are we talking about?
I know, but like Drake is just very, very intentional when it comes to beef. He's shown that he's very intentional and he's very selfless when it comes to beef. Like he'll put his personal business out there and everything.
This is true. Okay, easier, ice cream or cake?
Ooh. That's actually not as easy as it seems, honestly. Talking to a former fat kid here, it's a tough one because I want both of them. The fat kid in me is like, why can't I have both? But it's like you gotta understand the rules of the question.
I mean, depending on what the ice cream and what the cake is, that is a quite difficult question.
It could, yeah, because sometimes I don't want a certain type of a certain type of cake if I can't have ice cream with it. So I would have to say ice cream. I would have to say ice cream.
You always have room for ice cream, I say.
Always.
Last one. You already know. Truth or dare?
I already told you. No scare money don't make no money. Going dare.
We're going dare. Okay. Scare money don't make no money. So speaking of making money, your dare is. Are you ready?
As ready as I'm going to be.
For the next 10 seconds, you are going to stand up and dance to a song.
Oh, man. Okay, how's the guy doing making money?
Hey! Whoa!
Okay.
Whoa! Ooh! Hey! Dance! Where's that money? Get that money! Who? Money. All right. You are game.
All right.
After Bryant, he went in no fear, danced to Cardi B like on the spot. All right.
Money.
You the real deal, sir. You ain't never scared.
Gotta be ready.
All right.
Stay ready. Stay ready. You don't gotta get ready.
Take it to the next level. Tell us a little bit more now that we've gotten to know you and your preferences. You've come on board. You were the assistant store manager, a co-partnership with the amazing Becca that we got to meet last week. So definitely want to know how things are going and how amazing the two you all are together as a duo. But first, want to know, like, just from your own words, what does it mean to you and what does it entail to be an assistant store manager?
Well, to me, being assistant store manager is like a specific, it's a very special role for like leadership and for like
Mhm.
making other people's lives easier. I feel like no matter where you're at, you have the opportunity to like affect other people. But like in a role like a ASM, I feel like I really have a lot of opportunity to make people's lives easier on like my staff level, like and also like for the community side. So like I'm hoping that problem solving will be a lot simpler and a lot more streamlined now that I
Mhm.
have less like steps and less people that I have to, go through. So that I'm looking forward to. And then also the process with Becca, she's been tremendous with helping me like really pick and choose like the different parts of a team so that we make our job easier, so we can kind of
Yeah.
free ourselves up to be more accessible to like, leadership or the community or customers or even our own staff. So it's really just been like a really fun experience, kind of just, broadening my horizons with my team because there's so much to learn.
So much to learn, but like you all have come so far, right? I mean, making history as the first ASMs for our Simply Pure Trenton location in the industry community. But then also you have your co-pilot, right? And with partnership, it's like being in a relationship. And the responsibilities that you all split and share to lead our team is exciting. So I'm curious to know from your perspective, yes, you're working with someone else for shared responsibility, but what have you learned the most about yourself through this process thus far?
I've learned that you can go fast by yourself, but you can go really far with others. So, like, as much as I've been trained personally in my life to, depend on myself and to hold myself accountable and to only expect things from myself and not from others. But when you actually are able to put together a team and rely on people and like,
Mhm.
vocalize, openly, you can really kind of get through like all of like your kind of like your bad moments. I don't want to call them like this. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but like sometimes some stuff just doesn't have a time and a space, and like you might be trying to create time and space for it, and somebody else kind of can help like redirect your energy in a more positive way, or kind of help you kind of articulate what you're trying to express just because like you guys are on the same page, but maybe at that moment you're not able to kind of grasp something the way they're able to grasp it. So it's like it's almost like having the missing piece to a puzzle. It's like having that like thing that
Ooh,
you like haven't had your whole life that you had to kind of compensate for. It's like now God kind of provided that for me in the form of my partner.
come on now. Blessings on blessings on blessings.
Absolutely.
That is a partnership, right? That yin, that yang. Yo, I mean, matchmaker, matchmaker, this is what I'm talking about. Work matching is just as important, right? As personal.
Yeah, and shout out to you, to here, and to the rest of the leadership team too, because y'all definitely put that in play. I mean, I know it was a
See,
grueling experience, and it was a lot of different applicants. I know people had their strengths and weaknesses, but like me and Becca, I feel like are like the dream team for real. Like,
yo, it's so crazy. T called it. He said it from there, went through the interview process. I as well, another manager at the time was on board. Like seriously, three different people with different perspectives still aligned, both with you all too as a partnership. And that's what is super crazy. So like shout out to you all because what people don't know, Brian and Becca, they've been at this process for over a year. Like we legit hit them up almost a year later, like, hey, we're going to start with the first candidates that submitted first. Let's talk, right? What are you interested? You're still open. You're like, okay.
right.
And it moved relatively fast within the follow-up time period of when we contacted you all as well. So that was an experience. Thank you for
No,
going
thank
through
you, thank
that.
you. It was worth it. It was definitely worth it. I mean, like, I guess everything happens for a reason, and like I'm glad the team came together the way it did because now we're just rolling, clicking, and it's like I couldn't have. I don't feel like I could have planned it or like thought of this at all. I just really had to just walk by faith.
Come on, Faith. Come, y'all don't hear this. Like, there's a lot, yes, that's formally planned and intentional, but there's a lot that once you have done the work, you have to let the higher beings come in, intercede, and where that path of least resistance is, you just got to go and let it be.
Right, that
So
part.
let's go back, right? A year ago, let's go back to even further before that. Like, what was your road to retail, to the cannabis industry? We want to hear, like, what's your story, and just what was that journey for you that got you to this place now?
So I'm gonna take it all the way back to like college. I went to get my degree for sociology and criminology because I was gonna do something in law enforcement. But I built a relationship with cannabis in college, and I couldn't maintain both of them. I couldn't maintain the career field with law enforcement and cannabis. So instead of doing the whole conflict of interest, like you said, path of least resistance, I chose to do the private sector, or the public sector rather. So I tried to go into private security, and I actually started off working for Dunbar, which is a money transportation company. They did a great job with helping me get my foundation. I got my first my first arm permit and my first actual armed security license through them. They helped me, sharpen up my skills about like just general security practices. But the nature of the business is pretty dangerous. You're riding around in a truck all day that says we carry valuables, and like when you're in Philadelphia and parts of Camden, it just gets it gets a little bit too risky. So I transitioned from that into like more like retail settings where I was kind of like dealing with more like customers, and then eventually I actually just through God and through purpose, I actually got linked up with a company that had a contract for a dispensary in Pennsylvania called Beyond Hello. So I got to see that whole company unfold really, and they started spreading out throughout Pennsylvania, and I actually transitioned from working in security as a contractor to actually working for Beyond Hello as an actual they call it a bud tender, but as a person that dispenses cannabis. And at that time it was completely medical. So like my only impression of like this was my first time doing retail, and this was my first impression of like retail cannabis, and it was like very tedious. There was a lot of checks and balances. You had to make sure you had your weights right. You had to make sure you had the right customer. You had to make sure they didn't have allotment overages. So it was a lot of different like yellow tape, but it was worth it when you actually had the encounters with the customers. So that's what really kind of drew me into the industry and kind of like made me double down on like, okay, maybe I can make a future for myself in doing this. So for the time being, I had let go of security, and then I went to actually work for Cureleaf in New Jersey because I'm originally from New Jersey. So I was getting tired of crossing the bridge and paying the toll to go to work. So it adds up. It definitely added up. So when I got to Cureleaf, it was like still generally new to me as far as like the cannabis industry, but I was very familiar now with cannabis and with like the customer service side of it. So I feel like I had a lot to bring to the table. So I didn't spend a lot of time there as like actually like working with customers. I spent a lot of time working with the actual staff and working with like the leadership team. And like, I got to work with some great people, but unfortunately the company culture really didn't align with me. So I actually ended up going back into security, but working for a dispensary down in South Jersey called Indigo. They really have a great company down there. I really enjoyed my time working for them. I enjoyed all the people I met down there. I learned a lot from those people and forged some great relationships. But fortunately and unfortunately, I did get the call a year later from you guys here at Simply Pure Trenton, and then that was history after that. I knew where my heart was. I knew that getting the call meant that I actually was meant to, or at least had the opportunity to, so I had to see it through. So unfortunately, I had to cut ties with Indigo, but still all love, though. If anybody's watching, miss y'all.
Yes, it's all love, right? What a great story. Thank you for the transparency, for going back down memory road, all leading up to here, right? Do you feel it was worth it? And would you take that same path again? If not, what would you do differently?
I would definitely say it was worth it. I would probably say I would want to change things, but if it wouldn't get me here, I wouldn't change anything.
That's awesome. So let's speaking of like where you are here now, and again, and from your own words of being that assistant store manager, that is a lot of different hats. And within that is leadership, right? I mean, this is a very powerful role. Some could argue the most autonomy for a store in regards to team members. And you're managing product, you're managing people, you're managing culture, the same culture that you weren't able to fully control at previous organizations, but now have a lot more impact of that. And so within your perspective, curious to know what leadership qualities and or strategies do you think are needed to really uphold our mission here at Simply Pure Trenton, which is to be social justice minded cannabis ambassadors?
It's a very good question. It's a very good question. I think first of all, you just gotta be selfless. Like you gotta kind of take the whole like me, I take that out of the equation and think about everybody as like a community and as a group and how your actions impact others. And then as you know, being in a leadership role, patience is definitely going to come into play because everybody's not moving at the same pace. Everybody doesn't come from the same background, and
Indeed.
we still
Facts.
still want to get that potential out of you, even if you know you're not coming with that, you know, initially, or you don't know how to utilize that, you know, those skills initially. But definitely patience. And for me, I always want to be able to do things that I ask people to do. So if I ask you to do something, I don't want there to be any type of confusion on whether or not I'm able to do it or if I'm like, you know, capable of doing it. It's just a matter of who is actually responsible for doing it at that given time and place. So I would say those are probably my top three.
Love that. Love that. You know where I'm going with it. You know, you're talking a lot about competencies. I'm thinking core and at your core, right? We talk about core values at Simply Pure Trenton. We have amazing core values. Curious to know which of our core values, right? Knowledge and gosh, love of the plant, social justice. I mean,
Yeah, it's
like
so tempting. Yeah, this is
keep
so
going
tempting.
on. But the fact is, what registers the most to you for your core values? Like which ones align to you the most, and give us a reason why is that?
I would say definitely the inclusion, the inclusive environments. Just coming from security, that's like my MO is making sure that everybody feels safe in the space. You know, like I don't really care why you're here or like, you know, what you're doing here, but you just treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And generally, you know, I'm going to do whatever I can that I have control over to help make sure that I can ensure that for everybody in the environment. So definitely inclusive environments. And then love for the plant. I mean, because like I just genuinely was, you know, I made a lot of decisions in life based off of my love for the plant. And like when I did them, people probably looked at me like I was crazy, like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? But it's like I knew I was staying true to myself and I knew what that meant to me and how it made me feel. So that, and then after that, I would probably say the knowledge aspect because it's something that I am passionate about. So like I do naturally have like this inquisitive nature about it. Like I want to know about certain stuff, especially because there's a lot of information about the plant that hasn't even been discovered yet. So it's like, you know, a never ending, you know, never ending search for like information and possibilities. But yeah, those are my top three.
That is awesome, y'all. And it's just fascinating to me because, like, of your strong background with security, right? And to say inclusive environment, because the first time, I mean, I'm going to just jump to the stereotype that people are like, security is the one that tells you to get out. That to hear you and really resonate to your core value of inclusivity is quite unique. Can you tell us a little bit more to why that is, and how do you look at security, which may be different than what usually the stigma goes to?
I feel like there's different levels to it. A lot of people associate security with the physical aspect or the verbal aspect, but there's like a non-verbal, like non whatever. Just body language goes a long way sometimes. So like you can look, you know, assertive, but you can come off as kind, and then that kind of opens the door for people to communicate with you if there's a problem, or it makes people feel like, you know, if you're on your job and you're paying attention and you're like, you know, you're dressed well and like you're dressed like, you know, your uniform's well put together, that if something happens, you'll be able to, you know, respond and be able to like, you know,
Yeah,
hopefully neutralize the situation before it like overspills into somebody else's, you know what I'm saying,
that was
somebody else's
real
life.
security language. That was real secure. Neutralize the situation.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really it's really just an effort just to make people feel comfortable. Sometimes that shouldn't be your responsibility, but as a security guard, it's 100% your responsibility to make people feel comfortable. Like especially if it's in the space that you're controlling and it's retail. Like I mean, I get it if it's something totally different. There's no customer aspect to it, but if there's any type of service aspect to what you're doing, you should definitely be providing some type of comfort and reassurance more so than like just intimidating people.
Okay. I think people can really hear, right, what you can expect to come in. We're gonna have security, but
Oh
you
yeah.
hear the type of inclusive environment that means so important to us at Simply Pure Trenton and led by our assistant store manager, Bryant. Okay, Bryant, I have a very, very, very difficult next question for you.
Oh boy, lay it on me.
It is Women's History Month. So, with
Yes.
that, please tell us all who is the most important woman in your life and why?
It's very stereotypical, but my mom, 100%. Her birthday just passed too. Shout out to my mom. Happy belated birthday.
I mean, come on, mom. Happy birthday. Okay, tell us a
She's
little bit more. Why mom? Like, let's lift her up.
Oh, mom's the GOAT. Mom's definitely the one that puts like that fire in my back, that battery in my back. Like she's like been my motivator. Like she's like my biggest critic. She's the person that like will legitimately never hold back her opinion. And she does it from a place of love. She does it from a place of like, I don't want to see somebody else like just smack you with this in like the street and it's the first time you heard it and then you melt down and can't handle it. So like she just wants me to be as prepared as possible out here in the world. And like whenever I do need her to like soften the blow a little bit, she knows how to get tender with me and how to like, reaffirm the courage and like, the pride that I should have in myself.
Mom, you are a good one. We see it. It bleeds through. I mean, what did she say when you came home and said, like, Mom, I want to work in cannabis? Like, what was that story?
I'm gonna keep it a bean. Mom kept it a bean. She was curious. She did it before she did any research about the whole industry and like seeing the legalness of it, like seeing the legalities and seeing like that it actually is a very authentic and it's a very like thriving industry. She was a little skeptical. Like she was drilling me a little bit because like she's thinking like you had a very good way of making money and now you're shifting your gears. You're talking about all this other retail stuff and she's worked retail before, so she's thinking like, I ain't send you to college for you to come back here doing retail. And I'm like, wait a minute, Mom, this is not just retail. Like, this is like a whole endeavor into like a whole new culture, a whole new beginning. Like, we're making history. And like now I think she sees it because my mom and my dad are both from Trenton. They both graduated from Trenton High. So now that I'm back in the town, and then, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's all
Do they know the
full circle.
Johnsons? Do they know the Johnsons?
I don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure they they probably know them. Or my dad's mom, my grandma, she was very well known in like the Mercer County area. Like she was just
crazy,
everybody's best friend. So yeah, I'm waiting for those paths to cross
it's
one
gonna
day.
Happen. No lie, every time I run into a senior, because I'm in Newark, so every time I run into a senior and they're from complete facts are hands down a Black senior and they from Trenton, and I'm like, well, do you know the Johnsons? Like, like it's a whole thing. So I know they know the world is small.
That's why I don't doubt it for a second. It's just like it's only a matter of time for I like that. I see them, I introduce them, and it's like, wait a minute, did you? It's like, yep, there you go. Have a ball with each other. Go down memory lane together.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's fast forward. We went back, but now we're gonna fast forward. Like the future. Like, what are your future goals? Like overall of just being in this industry, and like let's go 10, 15 years from now. What can we expect from Bryant on that journey?
I'm looking to possibly like catapult myself into like a new lane in the industry. I'm not sure what that is or what that looks like, but there's so much room and there's so much space for like new ideas and new opportunity that I feel like if I soak up enough of what's around me team wise, like from you and from like Tahir and from Becca and from Fresh and from Tip, I feel like I'll be able to come up with something big. Like I'll come up with something and I'll know when I get it. And then I'll focus on the steps and where where that's going to lead me. But for the time being, I'm really just grateful and I'm really just like really humble about like the environment that I'm at and the team that I'm at and like the pace that we're moving and that like I'm able to accomplish stuff, like accomplish things on this team level that I probably wouldn't have even tried to do by myself. So it's like I'm already kind of like practicing for like whatever the next steps are, because I'm so far out of my comfort zone. So it's just like, I don't know what's next, but I'm very sure it's going to be something big. So probably the next 10, 15 years, probably pushing my brand somewhere and probably using my brand to push a company of my own, hopefully.
Yes. Yo, so powerful, right? Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like that's what it is. And I resonate with that as well. Like, you know what I mean? Just within my journey and coming in, and I've been in it for a minute on this East Coast. These cannabis years are for real.
For real.
But yeah, it's like I'm just used to being uncomfortable. It's like that's just what it is. So speaking of things that sometimes people may not realize, because it ain't all glamour, it ain't all green as people think it is.
Grass is not all green over here.
Yeah. So I mean, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's bring some transparency. Excuse me, my voice going out, but like, right, what advice can you give people to prepare and expectations of what it's really like to be in this space and face the challenges that we've had? So like, what are some of the challenges? What advice would you give to someone who's looking to be in your shoes to give them some real transparency?
I would say the best thing you can do is know your strengths and identify your weaknesses as soon as possible in the industry. And they're not going to look the same to you, or they're not going to sound the same, or what you're like used to, or what, like, whatever your struggles have been, because the industry is totally different. And I say that especially because you're probably going to need the support of people that have been in the industry at some point, whether it's your coworkers or somebody giving you the initial shot to even get the job. So like, you're going to want to know what things to lean on them for, and what things that you can kind of like bring to the table to kind of, add value right off the bat. Because you feel real dumb when you walk into a dispensary sometimes and you don't know nothing about the topic and you think you know something about retail. It's not really like, there's an aspect of it that's very, very retail heavy, but there's another aspect of it that's very heavily dependent on your information and your relationship really with cannabis. Like, it's not just what it's like your experiences with it. Like, some people use their personal experiences and that's how they translate, and that's how they relate the plant to customers. And some people are just nerds. They just are just naturally retaining information like sponges, and they can recite stuff at the drop of a hat. So you'll want to find out where you kind of align in the industry and where your strengths can be useful, and try to just soak up everything else while you're using your skills and trying to be useful on the team.
Facts. Shout out to Teresa. Showing mad love. That connection is real. You just gave such good advice. And the fact is that you led it with truly accountability. Like, know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Don't shy away, but lean into that, right? So that you are getting a real good advantage of making sure you're best prepared to be able to pivot and navigate in this space, y'all. I mean, please, absolutely. That is facts. And that is applicable to anyone and everyone, no position, your background, whatever. It is absolutely applicable to those to that advisement. So shout out to you. That was great, Bryant. Okay, so let us know, right? We're getting close to opening. Like, we getting paint on walls.
Yes. Oh, man.
Doors are being.
We got glass doors going up. Yes. Like,
signage. We got a parking lot. Like,
yeah.
It's real. Like, it's about to be like real. So like, the doors are open, right? We don't know when yet, because all of that is contingent based on our final passing of everything. So keep praying and wishing us good juju. But once our doors are open, please tell our community, what can they expect? And y'all are hearing it from one of our co-leaders of the store. Just give us, from your perspective, what we can expect as a customer at Simply Pure Trenton.
You can expect high energy and warm welcomes. I'm expecting, like, everybody is on the staff, I want everybody to kind of have the same general appreciation for other people, just like, I'm really hammering that golden rule of treating people the way you want to be treated, or the way you would want your loved ones to be treated. So it's like, no matter who it is, I don't care if it's the mailman, or if it's like, the customer that spends $100,000, everybody should get the same feeling of appreciation for just dealing with us, for just taking the time out and for making the choice to come do business with us. And then also knowledge. I'm looking for people like to really be able to educate themselves here. Like, if you have a question and like you've been getting 2 different answers, or you've been trying to do research on it and you haven't been able to, come to us and ask us, because if we don't know, we're the ones that are going to go find out. And then when we find out, we'll put you on, and then now you'll be another resource for somebody else in the community.
Knowledge, y'all, you hear it. I mean, from one of our amazing co-leaders right here at Simply Pure Trenton. Y'all, let's give it up for Bryant.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for spending time coming for us to get to know. Oh my goodness, my little cousin said, "Hey, yo."
Hey.
Hey. What is your nickname? Do you have a family nickname?
I don't. I'm just B. That's it. I'm the only one with B, because my brother and my dad he's a junior, so it's like he's got like a nickname. He's Big Cat, but like, I don't really need a nickname. It's just me.
Big Cat, Little Cat. Okay, now.
No, they did try to Little Cat me though. They did try to Little Cat me.
Right. You are 6'6". Like, that's who is Little Cat you? I'm like, what are we talking? If y'all didn't know that, fun fact, like, Bryant is model tall. Like,
yeah, that's the reason why I didn't stand up and dance, because if I would have stood up, y'all wouldn't have saw my face no more, and I don't think that would have been appropriate. So yes, she's not lying. 6'6". My brother's 6'9", so when I'm around him, I am little. I do look a little underwhelming. My 6'6" is a very humble 6'6" when he's around. Yeah. He's 6'9".
6'10", but like I'm telling you, we tall in here. Say, this is Georgia. This is Bryant. Say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
My little cousin. Well, thank you, Bryant, for spending time.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
You, right, and the work you're doing. Shout out to Becca, your co-partner.
Yes.
And y'all, please continue to pour in, show love to our amazing team members here at Simply Pure Trenton. Next week, we have a special surprise. You want to tell them? Do you know? Our surprise next week is we about to meet the ultimate team member.
Oh.
We are meeting Mrs. Tahir's mother. Hey! So y'all, please continue to tune in. We have more surprises coming to you.'ve met our team. Now we're about to meet Mama of the team.
Yeah.
Okay? The one who
the
really,
matriarch.
we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this amazing woman. So continue to tune in every Thursday, 7 p.m. right here with us, Simply Pure Trenton. Again, Bryant, thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Everybody have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.